Welcome to another edition of the Willy Bragg Show. I normally don't do shows on Friday anymore, but yesterday I overslept, didn't do a show. So here I am. I'm doing a show a little earlier because Fridays are not exactly my best days. I have to go to work in a little while. So yada, yada, yada. This is probably going to be a fairly short video, but I do think I need to talk about this ever so quickly. So and that's what I'm planning to do. As you see me walk away from the computer, my battery's on low. I will be grabbing my cord in just a short moment. So anyway, great seeing everybody here. I see Cisco. How are you today? Yeah, I'm doing great. Glad to see you on Blue Sky, and we will kick some shit lib ass over there. Yeah, I know about laundry too, by the way. I understand about laundry. Sometimes I have to do that myself. And hey, how are you doing, Max Sergey? I'm doing good. And Rick Solis, how are you doing today? It's been a minute. So anyway, yeah. We got a new president now. Well, and we know about him. He's been with us before. His name is Donald Trump. Can't say I'm happy about it, but I wouldn't have been happy about Kamala Harris either. The United States is just incapable of electing decent politicians. And, it's just been that way for years. I know it's cliche to sit there and just beat up on all politicians, but look what we have to deal with. But anyway, yeah, Trump got inaugurated, and they had a sermon. There was a church service at the National Cathedral. There was a church, and Bishop Budde from the Episcopal Church gave the sermon at Trump's inauguration, and let's just say it was mighty controversial, and certain people just getting very upset over this, and I'm going to play you the video and the clip, and I will discuss. So hold on tight here. Oh, and before I do, I want to dedicate this video to a friend of mine named Dwight Welsh, who's been on this show several times. He's a United Church of Christ minister. He's a progressive pastor, a member of the LGBTQ community, and he has to deal with a lot of intolerance out there. But he's been quite an activist for many years, and has done wonderful work in the pro peace and movements and labor movements and movements dealing with other issues regarding social justice and what have you. So as I said, I want to give a shout out to Dwight. I said I was going to do that, and that's what I'm doing right this second. So right now we're going to play that video from Miriam Budde, I believe that's how you pronounce it, or Budde, Episcopal Bishop Budde, addressing Donald Trump, and I will tell you about the reaction momentarily. Here we go.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops, and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
That was Episcopal Bishop Budde, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to contrast that with this. This is from Right Wing Watch. It's a little old, but it's relevant to how partisan a benign speech like that by Miriam Budd. You compare that to this message here, and I want to make my case as to why what she had to say, it wasn't that controversial.
Socialism takes from one person and gives to another. This is now happening through runaway taxation in America. 47% of Americans do not pay federal income tax. Those who will work have their money taken from them to be given to deadbeats who can work but won't work. This is socialism. It's taking America over by leaps and bounds. And the end result is a massive socialist government, a big state nanny state that will control your every move. It eventually leads to civil violence. You're seeing some of that civil violence with the Occupy Wall Street group. Remember Adolf Hitler's socialism? It was called Nazism. That's the shorter word for the Nationalist Socialist Party in Germany. It resulted in the death of 50 million people. That was called World War II. Marxism, communism in Russia, as I've said before, murdered 30 million Russian people, birthing socialism. Because when socialism comes to power, it takes all power and individualism away from you. Socialism produces the environment for a Hitler or a Stalin to come to power, even an Antichrist to come to power.
Capitalism has killed more people than this ideology that John Hagee claimed. And Hitler was not a socialist, by the way. And I can guarantee you that John Hagee has way more in common with Adolf Hitler than any so-called socialist that he wants to align with that. So that's what I have to say. But aside that, and I might talk a little more about him in a moment. But you can compare his message to that of Bishop Budde. If some of these people like John Hagee would have done some kind of sermon at some place berating Barack Obama or Bill Clinton or Joe Biden, and all of these three motherfuckers I have no use for, by the way, because I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. And the reaction would have been like, oh, do you hear this preacher talk shit about the new president? You'd be hearing the Fox News and right-wing media circus saying, oh, they're anti-Christian. They're just attacking Christians. They're just attacking Christians. But that's what they've done with this, with Bishop Budde, because her mild-mannered message. Now, granted, the only thing I found wrong with her message is she didn't go after Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden, Joe Biden's got a lot to answer for as well. Those cages that exist by the border are not Trump cages. They were originally Obama cages. Now, sure, Trump did not a damn thing about it. So, yeah, I mean, Trump can fuck off as easily as Obama and Biden. But the thing is that she didn't do that. And I would say at the worst I could say about her is that she might be shit lib adjacent, but her overall message still toward Trump was well justified. It wasn't mean spirited. It was or any of these things. She spoke her mind about these issues, about the immigrant crisis, to exercise a level of humanity. To exercise a level of humanity when it comes to LGBTQ issues, these sort of things. I think she could have added a couple other things too to this list. But overall, the fact that the right wing in this country are acting like that she's such a terrible person for what she said, it was like, oh, how dare you speak of my president this way? She has every right to. It's called the First Amendment. And if these right-wing people can't realize that, they don't need to be lecturing people about the First Amendment. Because really, when it came right down to it, that's exactly what they will silence people that they disagree with at the drop of a hat. That's what it comes down to. There was nothing hateful about what she said. There was nothing spiteful about what she said. Honestly, there was nothing terrible about what she says. I can't think of anything negative in any aspect of what she had to say toward Trump. And for Trump to sit there and act like he's with his persecution complex, acting like that he's this terrible person, it's ridiculous. And look at what this person has to say here. Let's see. Meet Bishop Marianne Edgar Budde, MAGA Christian Patriots. If you attend an Episcopal congregation, sorry to say, it's time to find a new church as the clearly not teaching the true Christian values. What Christian values would the right wing want her to teach? That to hate gay people, to hate immigrants, to fight a war in another country, fight wars in another country, particularly in the Middle East these days, just to to slob on the knob of Benjamin Netanyahu, because it's not just her that they denounce. When Pope Francis spoke at the Joint House of Congress several years ago, about a decade ago, even some of the Catholic Republican right-wing people were sitting there talking shit about Pope Francis. But they treated regardless of religious denominations, many of these Republican right-wingers treated Benjamin Netanyahu as if that was Christ coming down from heaven himself and giving him hand jobs and slobbing on his tiny little knob. So it's okay to sit there and bow down toward Benjamin Netanyahu, who has blood on his hand, that a man that the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, need to fucking arrest and put behind bars for the rest of his life. It's okay to sit there and praise that man and act like he can do no wrong. But a woman who's a member of the cloth, who's going out. He's going out with a message of love and mercy, and they demand for her to apologize. They demand for her to apologize. I mean, I'm offended. I mean, and I don't mean I'm offended in this SJW sort of way, but as somebody who's I would call myself a lukewarm Christian. I mean, I'm not like overtly, but somebody who shares the same tradition of Marion Budd. I am absolutely just appalled with how people who claim to be Christian to go and make a god out of Trump as well. It's a cult, and I don't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. I don't respect Trump enough to suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. He's an ass clown, and he's goofy, and he's stupid. And so I don't respect him enough. And according to Norman Finkelstein today, I was listening to forgot the name of the show about the whole fascism thing taking place in America. He explained how fascism usually takes place when it crushes a powerful left. There's no powerful left in America. Not even the message that she conveyed would be considered a powerful left message, in the sense that there was not really a serious class analysis in what she had to say. Now, I'm not sitting there, I'm saying like I'm criticizing her too much. I mean, her shortcomings is not entirely her fault. Her shortcomings in her speech is the product of an Overton window that affects us all. We're all affected by it. But I take her message any day over the shenanigans that comes out of the mouth of John Hagee, a man who claims that the Catholic Church is the Antichrist, a man who slobs on the knob of Benjamin Netanyahu. Figuratively speaking, I'm not saying a little, just in case somebody wants to do a lawsuit against me. But the point I'm trying to make is a moderate message of live and let live, a moderate message of be kind to each other. I mean, that's considered, extreme and terrible. But John Hagee today, or Jerry Falwell or Pat Robertson back in the 80s and 90s, that was considered proper. The people who praise Ronald Reagan and George Bush wars and human rights abuse abroad, that praises unfettered capitalism. And here's the thing. I tell people when it comes to, I think that the Democratic Party's garbage. I want to make that clear. Democratic Party's garbage because they reject class analysis on the crisis. They have been cucked and pussified by the Republicans for so damn long that they ended up becoming junior Republicans, and they don't, and they're too scared to take on capital the way they need to. They're America's other conservative party. There may be some good people in there trying to make a difference, but it's a brick wall. I've heard Masta, Jardula, and Fiorella Isabel, when I first started watching Combo Couch, which is now Truthwire, saying that the Democratic Party is a place where a progressive can come in and progressive ideas die. It becomes a graveyard. Regardless, I just don't understand the culture. Everything has to be a fucking culture war, a culture of outrage. I bet you she gave a more milk toast speech, they would have found a problem with that too. and you know, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to be like I don't think we're going to be like fascist Italy or you know whatever. Maybe Trump wants to be a Protestant Franco wannabe, but he's too stupid to do it. And honestly, I think there is still enough checks and balances that will throw some monkey wrenches in his agenda. I don't think that Project 25 is going to be fully incremented. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us. I don't mean by voting for Democrats, because you're not going to vote your way out of this. But it's incumbent upon all of us, you know, to get out in the streets and to be an activist, and myself included, you know, to go and you know, try to organize against this sort of thing, network with others. And that's, you know, I'm going into a more broad direction of what needs to be done. And you know, just because Trump do these stupid executive orders, you know, I was reading through some of them today, and I saw one of them and said, you know, one that really offended me was the death penalty, reinstating the federal death penalty. I mean, a lot of it offended me, but you know, it's one of my top issues right there. We got a lot of work to do in this country, and you know, you know, it's just terrible. But you know what? The shining light, or the light, you know, the shining light at the end of the tunnel is this. Some of the shit lives out there may do something useful and get outraged for a change instead of being asleep, because they tend to be asleep when the Democrats are in power. I remember, like, the anti-war movements that took place at the time. They were asleep. They were active out there against Bush and Cheney. As soon as Obama became president, the wars continued. I mean, you still had the Patriot Act doing what it was doing, and Department of Homeland Security, and you still had troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you still had torture. You had all that shit under Obama. It continued, but they stopped being activists as a result. So I want to go and address this point here. Careful, Willie. They'll start accusing you of TDS or having minor criticisms of Trump. Look, a lot of liberals think I'm pro-Trump. I mean, I can read between the lines of some people on posts when I post something. They think I'm some secret fan of Trump. Why would I be? He's a fucking billionaire. Why would I be? In 2016 and 2020, the candidate I wanted to win was cheated out of his nomination. So that, you know, and he's never going to run again. I'm glad that Bernie's never going to run again. So Trump deserves to be criticized in a lot of areas. Eating steak with dumping ketchup on your steak is not a reason to shit on Trump. I reject Russiagate from the get-go. I never believed that he was politically in bed with Vladimir Putin. You know, some of the things that they accuse him of, I don't even think he's a quote-unquote neo-Nazi, what have you. But thing is that the thing about Trump is, I mean, occasionally he will say some stupid shit, and you had no choice but to laugh, because he's such a cartoonish, stupid person. I mean, you know, he's the right-wing Forrest Gump of American politics. I mean, he basically is, gosh, what's the name of that actor? The one that I cannot think of the name of that actor. I think his name's Busey, the one that got hurt in a motorcycle accident. Back in the 80s or in the 1990s, that he can't work in Hollywood. If anybody can mention his name, I appreciate it. But he's basically that's Gary Busey. Thank you, Warren. Gary Busey. Yeah. He's Gary Busey meets a Protestant Franco wannabe, meets Forrest Gump. That is Donald Trump in a nutshell. And so just he's a damn goofball. I mean, the mean tweets just kept me laughing the first time around when he was president. So, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be laughing as much this time around because he's a little more unhinged. He's a little more right wing, But I'm looking forward to the drama that's about to unfold between him and Elon Musk. He probably has more fascist tendencies than Trump. I came to the conclusions that he's the Elon Musk is the George Soros of the right meets the modern day Henry Ford. And that's where I stand on that. I die on that hill. So I'll talk to everybody here on the chat line, but I want to say that she has something to apologize for. I'm referring to Bishop Budde. She has nothing to apologize for, and the right wing can cry about it, and they can cry and be little snowflakes. Donald Trump can be a little snowflake for all I care. They're sitting around. They always call the left snowflakes. It's time to throw it right back in their face. The only thing I hate about this is I sound like a shit lib doing this because even though the Democrats are worthless, they don't do whatever you want to do. It's just satisfying, just pissing in their Wheaties because they're so gutless. I'm referring to the Democrats. With the Republicans, it's a different game. They're in there, and they definitely don't do what you want. But you're so trollish that it does bring out maybe kind of a shit lib in me that still remains. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. So, okay. That's correct, Global. Episcopal Church accepts anyone. It does. It's my tradition. I'm Episcopalian. So let's see here. We have here. Hey, Jamar. Jamar is here online. What's up, guys? What's up, Jamar? Great seeing you here. And Warren's right. No one is above scrutiny. Absolutely no one. No one. And yes, Cisco, you're right. And I love throwing it right back into the right wing's face. And they hate it when they know that they're acting like the pink and blue hair so-called SJWs that they malign for years, and they get super defensive. Oh, I love getting them triggered. I mean, you heard that little pussy Ben Shapiro for years. Yeah, freedom of speech. I'm a freedom of speech. I believe in freedom of speech. Well, he certainly didn't believe in freedom of speech for Candace Owens. No fan of hers. But he certainly didn't believe in her having freedom of speech. The only thing she's correct about is Israel. What about him, cheering cops cracking down on students on the encampment and calling them anti-Semites? Ben Shapiro, somebody who sits there and criticizes the left and marginalized communities, and saying that they're just a bunch of victims or whatever. I mean, he'll do that shit And a lot of other right wingers would do that shit. But as soon as you go and hurt Israel's feelings, they will, they will go and shit on you like a ton of bricks. Over even the mildest, even the most mildest criticisms. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just talking about the hypocrisy of all these right wingers. So let's see here what we have. Let's see here. I'm looking through here. Don't ever dye your hair blue. I have a funny story about that. I used to dye my hair about 20 years ago. I got gray in my late 20s. I started dyeing my hair. And I just dyed it black, jet black, because it's the color I prefer. And the gray hair and the hair dye, the black hair dye, basically turn my hair purple and blue sometimes, depending on the hair dye. So I unintentionally made myself look trendy for a couple of years. So anyway, is that you, Les Bones? If that's you, how the hell are you? Because I was thinking that might have been you. Miguel sort of gave it away. How are you doing, Miguel? So that's great. I haven't seen you in a minute. I was talking about you recently, Les Bones. I was talking about you, talking to you more in last week for a moment about you. So it's been a while. So anyway, I'm going to definitely. I hope you're doing well too. So well, I'm going to make this video kind of short because I'm going to grab a bite to eat and then I'm going to work. And so that's what I'm planning to do. And Friday's an awful evening. I normally don't do Fridays anymore, but I didn't do last night, Thursday night, because I overslept. Just what happens when you work graveyard shift. And it was like 20 minutes before the live stream. And I was like, well, will I be able to shave and shower? Will I be able to grab a bite to eat? Would I be able to do this before I do the video? And I was like, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I was just like, well, I was just going to have to work it out for tomorrow, Friday. So I did it. So anyway, I'll be back on Monday. There's always a small, tiny chance I'll be here, maybe on Sunday. It depends. If I'm not tired enough and I have something that I really want to talk about, I might drop in a live stream. But right now, I'll be back on Monday. My new schedule is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment anyway. If you disagree with what I have to say, feel free to share the contents on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. So muckrake away, please. And remember to subscribe to the Willy Bragg Show. Reject corporate media. Free Palestine, free healthcare for all, free and pardon Ed Snowden, fully pardon Julian Assange, free healthcare for all. If I didn't say it already, it's one of my issues. And preservation of free speech, continue having that around. And Cowboy Kitty, how are you doing today? My goodness, we're having some old school reunions here. So everybody, y'all have a great weekend. Just indulge whenever you get a chance to. And I'm on Blue Sky, as you can see, right here, underneath where it says Willy Bragg, the dirtbag leftist. It says Willy Bragg tv.bsky social. That's my handle on Blue Sky. So be sure to follow me if you're on Blue Sky, because I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to stay on Twitter or not, because Elon Musk is a piece of shit. So anyway, I'm out of here. Until next time, folks. Fuck Elon Musk. Y'all have a great weekend.